So when I really look back and reflect, and many times what happens when we sit into this type of podcast, we try to really reflect back what we have done in life.
Hmm.
So when I look at my own story, it's a story of a boy from a small town called Dhar, grew in a joint family with two sisters and a brother. My both parents were in teaching profession, very hardworking, and a role model for us. So because they were teacher, we were raised in a very disciplined and highly academic focused environment. So when you grow in that type of environment, hard work, honesty, humility, they become your core.
Yeah.
My wife is a homemaker. I've got two sons. And when I really look back, how the small learning in my life has helped me, I think that is the very important thing which I would like to share.
Mhm.
When I reflect back, my parents, they used to spend a lot of money for us as we were growing on traveling, meeting relatives, getting various experiences, sending us to various sports camps. Uh, and they were doing this really to provide us the various life experiences. And they never used to buy a very expensive stuff to us. So I think today when I reflect back, those experiences are really very, very important and they're working very well for me. And I believe that experience and exposure, they are the best teacher in your life.
True.
A small learning, they used to always talk about, in Hindi, they call it sochna, samajhna और फिर बोलना. Means think before you speak.
Ah.
Now, this is a very small thing, but this has helped me a lot. Because when we really look at our work environment, half of the problem they disappear when we listen twice as much we speak. And God has given us 2 ears and one mouth, so use it in that proportion.
Yes.
Uh, and in my career, I have worked through the ranks and come to this position, and that is why how I am talking to you. I used to play in my earlier days a lot of team sports. And I continue to carry that sportsman spirit in my work environment too. Down the line, all our audiences, they will have their own stories to tell.
Mhm.
I'm sure many of them will be successful leaders. But now, no two stories are similar.
Yeah.
So each one of them are going to have their own story. So there is no point in comparing our story with anybody else's. When I started my career, I wanted to get into sports and play professional cricket. I
Wow.
could not do that. I failed. Then I was inspired by Sam Manekshaw. He was a field marshal. And I was inspired by him and wanted to join Navy.
Mhm.
Appeared for SSB twice, but failed and could not succeed there too. And then I readjusted my aspiration and wanted to work in a factory, which I started doing it. So early in the life, I realized that you need to really dream big, dream something about this thing of your career. And even if you fail, readjust your dream and start moving on.
Hmm. I like that.
And
Readjust your dream and start moving on.
yeah, because see, ultimately, there are so many circumstances which will define your success or what you want to do.
Yeah.
Sometime you will succeed, sometime you will not. But we need to make a decision, and success and failure will be a part of it. Own the decision and just move on and readjust your dream.
Hmm. I like that.
So
That's
that
so
is what,
wonderfully said.
and I feel really blessed all the life journey has enriched my experiences. My family has supported me very well. Uh, Eternally grateful to them, because many times we feel that we are working and we are achieving, but there are so many people behind us in the
Mm.
family, friends, and other coach and guide. Because of them, we become successful.
Very
So
right.
I really feel blessed, and they have enriched my experiences in my life.
You have put that so well. Without the family and without their support, we just can't be what we are. And I think we are all very blessed to have such good families that support us. I think that's wonderfully put. That's great. But now you're the managing director. You're the country head. It was not like this always for you. So since we're talking about the mid management level, what were some challenges you faced while being in the mid management level and crossing it to get to the next one?
It's a good question. And what I really, when I think about a mid-level management, or any level, when we come
Mm.
start our career and working in the organization, essentially what do we do? Our job is to make a decision in whichever position we are, implement systems and processes, and deliver the outcome for the organization. So at whichever level we work, we essentially do this thing. In the initial phase of our career, we make a decisions where the business impact is low. We make lot many decisions, but business impacts are extremely low. As we grow in the mid level, our area of influence increases,
Hmm.
and we make a slightly higher level of decision, and business impact is higher than earlier.
Right. Yeah.
And many times our decisions are cross-functional in nature, and it has a cross-functional impact. And that is what is one of the major difference. Another difference is when we start coming to the mid-level, we start leading teams.
Yeah.
So many times it becomes extremely important that our teams, they should become successful, and their success ultimately becomes our success.
Hmm.
So when we reach to the mid-level management, understanding organizational requirement and aligning employee and meeting their aspiration, that becomes really a challenging aspect.
Hmm.
Sometimes those two things are aligned, sometimes those things are conflicting. And when we talk about work situation, first we need to understand what is the business environment in which we are going to work. So as a mid-level management, I think it is extremely important. Today, when back then, when I was in a mid-level management between 1991 to 2006, business environment was little different than what we have today.
Mhm.
India and global economy was growing, and around 50 countries were growing at a GDP rate more than 6%.
Whoa. Okay.
There were relatively less geopolitical tensions.
Hmm.
Supply situation was much more stable than what we have today. There were technological disruptions, but much less than what we have today. So when we really work in that situation, the business pressures are different. But I understand at mid-level management, we deal with many paradoxes and many
Yeah.
dilemmas.
Yeah.
I'll share few of them. So one is we need to deliver a higher level of performance with less number of resources.
Right.
And entire year we motivate the team and we work with them, and they outperform, they they walk extra mile. But when it comes to the year-end reviews and other thing, we get into the dilemma that we have a limited opportunities for promotion, limited opportunities for reward and recognition. So the mid-level management, a manager, we face this dilemma that now how do we deal with the people? Entire year they were working, they were moving extra mile,
Yeah.
and we are not really able to recognize them. So this is the one practical dilemma we face at the mid-level. Another thing, we definitely always have a resource crunch, and delivering higher level of performance with the resource crunch becomes an issue. For operation manager, many times they face the challenge that suddenly there is an increase in the demand and you need to increase production, and you don't have time to really get the manpower and the resources. So with the same set of resources, you deliver higher level of performance. Sometimes you have to cut down the production.
Yeah.
Another dilemma what we have at mid-level is managing change. When we really look at organization strategies over a period of time, they change. Sometimes organization want to implement Six Sigma, sometimes they want to implement TPM, sometimes they do org restructuring, changes in the policies, changes in HR policies. So all these type of things do continuously happen in the organization.
Right.
And as a mid-level management, many times we know the full story. Sometimes we do not know the full story.
Yeah.
But still we need to really motivate and work with the team and deliver the performance. And there are many more challenges. But what I feel in all this situation, I think a simple approach which has helped me, I can share that, is enterprise deliverable. They typically supersedes the functional deliverables. We can compromise functional deliverables, but we should continuously make a decision which meets the enterprise deliverables. That helps us in navigating through all this situation. And actually, mid-level manager position is such a position which really helps you define your own character. It helps you in creating your own reputation in the organization.
Okay.
Because during this time, we deal with both. We deal with the teams on the ground.
Yeah.
At the same time, we get access to the top level management.
Right. Yes.
So that is where we can create our own reputation. We need to be extremely authentic in our approach. And our say-do ratio or walk the talk, what we call it, has to be extremely important, because that will help us in making us authentic and making team successful, and removing their hurdle is very important in mid-level.
Yeah. Yeah.
So one line guided me throughout was tough time never lasts, but tough people do.
Yeah, actually, yeah, even there's that's the book also, right?
There is a book, I read through that book.
I've read the book. It's one of my favorites. In fact, my dad had gifted me this book on my 18th birthday or something. And since then, that book is always with me.
Yeah, and I read through that book much later in my career. I wish I had read that in the beginning of my career. It would have really helped me.
It does. It does. I mean, I still look at that book as something which gives me a lot of solace. And anytime I'm down or something and I need some guidance, that's one book I go to. So yes, I can so relate to that.
So those are the few of the things which are dilemmas, and how do we really
challenge. So, Shailendra, you have crossed that level, and a lot of people, they get stuck in that mid-management level. They want to do more, they want to deliver more, they want to get to the next position, but something just holds them, like gets them stuck. What actually gets people stuck? Like now, with your experience, why do you feel people just get stuck there, and then they feel if I just jump a job, that might just be better?
see again? I think when we really look at why we get stuck, we need to again understand what is the business environment around us, and in what context organization is working. Because nowadays what is happening, Uh, Geopolitical situation across the world is tense.
Yeah.
Global supply chain is constrained.
Yeah.
We are seeing a lot of environmental challenges. We see more cyclones, we see more storms, we
Yes.
see
Yes.
high temperature, untimely rains, pandemics.
Yeah.
So all sort of this type of things are happening. Global growth also now has slowed down. In 2022, there were only 10 countries which were growing at a GDP rate more than 6%.
Yeah.
So when we look at and and technological disruptions are far too many, whether it is digitization or AI ML or chat GPT, and
Yes.
there's so many things happening.
So much. Yes.
Now it creates a new opportunity, but at the same time it creates challenge too.
Uh-huh.
So when we look at all these scenarios, the current mid-level managers, they they are really in a situation where they have to deal with all these things,
Mm.
because now, because of
Change.
all these situations, organizations are looking for sustainable but profitable growth.
Yeah.
So earlier, top line growth was more important, but nowadays it is important, but sustainable but profitability is becoming even more important.
Correct. Yes. Yes.
Input cost pressures are increasing because of the input side of disruptions.
Mm-hmm.
So organizations are extremely focused on the cost nowadays. And when we look at the entire organization structure, it is very flat. So
Ah.
it is a very low opportunity for growth. So
Yes.
upward mobility is there. I'm not saying it is not there, but it is very, very,
Very
very
tight.
difficult and
Yeah.
far and few. Businesses are not growing, and all above really creates a challenge at the mid level.
Mm-hmm.
But as a mid level manager, what I can do is there are organizational or external issues, but there are few things which are controllable as a mid level manager.
Mm.
So I think the more important thing is we need to work on the controllable things.
Okay.
So what I
Like
say is
what? Like,
controllable is
yeah.
like we need to take the extreme ownership of what we do.
Hmm. Okay.
Because see, organizations, they in the tough situation, they are looking for the outcome and the results. So we should not confine ourselves to the functional boundaries and not really deliver in the gray areas.
Hmm.
So those who are taking the extreme ownership of entire thing and delivering in the gray areas, taking the full ownership for the result,
Mm-hmm.
they tend to gain more. We
Hmm.
need to really continuously focus on our learning ability,
Hmm. A lot of
because
people,
the,
Shailendra, a lot of people feel that if they have reached the mid management, they have learned a lot, and there is nothing more to learn. So that is correct what you're saying.
yeah, because see, the rate of change is so high,
Yeah, very much.
and many times when we are going through all this situation, one thing which helped me is I was using the three box matrix.
What is
So
that?
the first box, it talks about whatever core competency, technical or behavioral you have,
Hmm.
so continue to sharpen that.
Hmm. Correct. Yeah.
Third box, it talks about what are the competencies or technologies you want to learn for future.
Hmm.
So continue to spend time on learning that.
Hmm.
And we need to deliberately identify that.
Correct.
And the middle box, it talks about the competencies or behavioral pattern which you should forget.
Okay.
Because see, when we are dealing with the new generation
Hmm.
employees,
Yeah.
earlier we used to talk about when you are coming for the meeting, keep the laptop outside the room and then
Yeah.
come to the meeting.
Yeah. I remember. Yes.
Now the young generation, they want two mobiles in the hand and then only come to the meeting.
Yeah.
And unless they have that, they become uncomfortable. They won't even listen to you.
Right, right.
So be comfortable, leave your earlier disciplined actions, change yourself so that the employees or team members, they feel more comfortable
Hmm.
and they try to deliver the performance. So we need to make changes to ourselves.
Hmm. Okay.
Another thing is, it is important that if we get on the mid-level management, we need to make a decision whether we want to get the broader experience by job rotation, or
Hmm.
you want to continue in the same job and get only the depth. Both have got their own consequences, but both creates a different type of opportunity.
Right.
And then we need to continuously focus on networking in the organization.
Hmm.
See, ultimately, as an employee, we need to own our career. We
Right.
need to define 2, 3 paths. Okay,
Hmm.
this we would like to do in as a next step. Reach out to the decision maker, talk to them, so that whenever opportunity comes, your candidature is on the table. And that becomes extremely important. Many times, if we wait for that somebody else will come and tell us the job, give us a job, it will not happen. So we need to increase our outreach. We need to do the networking, and we need to continuously focus on skilling and reskilling, because that is becoming a new normal in the
Hmm.
organization.
Yeah. Right.
Those are the things which we need to really do on the mid-level management.
Wow. I mean, you have such a deep understanding, Shailendra, about all of this. In fact, now when you are hiring people for your organization, what qualities you look for in people, like in any role, in any position, what qualities do you look for now? And especially with the way business is evolving, that, like you said, technology is just changing at a faster speed than we can imagine. So, what is it that you look for?
See, when I look at any employee, whether it's a fresh hire or a mid-career hire, I typically look for the person should have a knowledge and the right experiences.
Okay.
Now, organization will provide you the environment where you can perform. But along with knowledge and experiences, the person should have will to do something.
Right.
If they have a knowledge, experiences, and will to do something, organization can provide you the opportunity to apply your knowledge, make a decision, make changes what are required for the organization, and convert that entire experience into the skill which will take you forward.
Nice. So, just based on what you said, what about employees who have the experience, they have the knowledge, but at the same time, they are not willing to grow? They are okay where they are. They feel that this is the place where we want to be. Have you experienced employees like this?
Yeah, we do have those type of situations also. See, because ultimately organization is a pyramid,
Okay.
and as you grow in the organization, there will be less and less positions.
Yeah.
In organization also, you do not need that all employees are going to go to the highest level.
Hmm.
So you need a steady performance also into the organization. Now, those steady performance also have a place in the organization, because they have a limited aspiration,
Hmm.
but they continue to do the job for longer period of time.
Hmm.
So definitely there is a place for them too. But those employees also need to understand, uh, nowadays organizations are paying for the job what you are doing. They are paying for the performance what you deliver.
Mhm.
If any employee has got an aspiration to stay at the same level, they will have a limited opportunity of growing their salaries.
Hmm.
But one thing is for sure, in the future, what I am finding, the job title may remain same,
Mhm.
but the content of the work is going to change. For example, if there is a customer support manager, so customer support manager was there 50 years back,
Hmm.
but they were doing a different type of things. Customer support manager 20 years back, we were doing a different thing. Customer support manager in the today's digital world, connected world with AI, ML, with
Yeah,
remote possibilities, will have a different work content.
correct,
So
correct.
the employees, even if they stay at the same level, they have to continuously upgrade themselves
Mhm.
to stay relevant in the organization.
Right.
If they don't do that, then there is a high risk of going out of job.
Yeah. And I think you are very right on this, Shailendra. A lot of people fear losing their jobs, their fear of layoffs. And even one thing which I have always, mentioned very clearly to leaders is that instead of fearing losing your job or fearing the layoffs, it's better to work on yourself. Like you said, you have to learn, you have to develop yourself so that you can keep growing in the organization or anywhere in your industry. So I think that's a very good point that you brought out. What would be your advice to people who want to succeed in the corporate world? I know you've
See,
given
it
many,
is.
but
Uh, See, there are a couple of things, and the first important thing what I feel is whichever position we work, whether it's a lower level, mid level, high level, we need to take the extreme ownership
Hmm.
in delivering performance. And when I say extreme ownership means we need to take the full ownership of